the JZX100 it's been a dream car for a long time. I've always liked four-door sedans, and I've had a 33 four-door past times, and I also had a 350Z actually. I've had a whole bunch of cars, and the list goes on forever. I got like this crazy obsession with old Hiluxes and anything that's like an old diesel. But the JZX100 has always been like one of those big hitter cars for me. So I had two at the same time. I had a Series 1 JZX100. I bought off a dude down in, I think, Adelaide. And he drove it all the way up from Adelaide to Brisbane and handed it over. And I was like, yeah, this is sick. It was manual, twin plate, sitting in traffic, horrible time. Bought this thing as a daily because it was auto. And yeah, kind of just snowballed into spending way too much money on it. My wife will kill me. But yeah, the plan was to have a 10.5 second quarter mile car. Hasn't done that yet, but the plan is to go down to like Willowbank and QR and do roll racing and set it up for that. So yeah, we get asked sometimes like, what clutch is in it? It don't have a clutch. So everyone's gonna sit there and in the comments probably be like, boo, like, oh, it's auto, it sucks. But yeah, until you go in it, yeah, it's a game changer. I stayed with the auto for two reasons. The first reason is the gearbox is like a $200 gearbox. So if anything goes wrong, getting a spare, like people literally throw the things in the bin. So a $200 gearbox as a replacement is far more attractive than having to replace like a $5,000 gearbox. The second push for staying auto was our good friend Louis at Seiko Custom Works. He's got exactly the same setup minus the headwork. And I kind of laughed. Funny, I laughed at him and said like, oh yeah, auto. And he took me for a drive in it on the street, and I was like, yeah, it's cool, like it's quick and everything. And then he's like, nah, come up to like a track day, and he put semi-slicks on it, and holy hell, like the thing is nuts. And then ever since then, I'm like, I'm going auto, staying auto, like, and yeah, here it is. It's all auto and it's nuts. It's exactly what I want. Would never go manual again. Because of traffic and dad life. Project Aero first started in, 2017. I had a 350Z and a lot of the parts at the time were in America. So trying to bring anything over to Australia was very difficult. And I kind of got to a point where I really wanted side skirt extensions for the 350, and it was the hype and the craze at the time for that car, and everyone was getting them and couldn't find anything in Australia. So sort of stumbled across making my own and the idea of making my own. And I went to a company and said, hey, I want some ABS plastic cut to size. It just needs to be this long by this wide. And they said, yeah, cool. We can do that, but you have to buy the whole sheet. And it was like 2 meters by 3 meters or something stupid. So I came home and I had a 350Z full of side skirt extensions, and I only needed a pair. And instead of putting them in the bin, I just thought, I wonder if anyone else needs them. So I advertised it on a group on Facebook, and next minute people asking how much. So I just named a price, cash price, and everyone started rocking up, and I'm like, this is crazy. And people were saying, can you do the 370? Can you do the B35? Can you do this car? And we went through a stage where we were just doing side skirt extensions. And then, you know, it was steady and it just kept going along, and it was just a good side hustle, a bit of money, and you know, creating stuff for people's cars. And then we got to a point where 2020 or 2021, we wanted to do it properly. Mainly just have a good crack at it and see what we could make. And Mitch, our engineer, his partner at the time wanted some graphic design work done. And I said, look, I'll do a trade-off with you. I'll give you my graphic design time for your engineering time. And he said, yeah, all right, done deal. He said, what am I engineering? I said, oh, got an Evo 9 front lip that we want to do. I said, yeah, cool. All right, cool. No worries. Drop it off. Drop off this front bumper off an Evo 9 around to Mitch's house, and he made a front lip. It turned out sick. Put it on the car. I was like, well, I can't just do one car. I need to do more. And before I started selling and creating just the one product and selling it through Facebook, I thought, you know what, may as well do a website, and down the rabbit hole we ended up going. So we launched with 5 cars in 2021, 350Z, 370, the Evo 7, 8, and the 9. So that's how that started. And it just was like 10K put down into business and just hope that it works. Like really hope that it works. And if it didn't, it was like, oh, well, I tried my hardest. And yeah, that's where it stemmed from. It just grew from there. It's insane. Yeah. Man, my first car was a 350Z. Like, I love that thing. I've had like a whole bunch of cars, but the 350 is just one of those cars that, especially being like my first proper car, I love that thing. It just did everything. I took it to the track. I did drifting in it, or try to drift. Thought I could drift, couldn't drift. You know, it was just like that car that did everything, like highway runs late at night, flying past everything, and just being like a hoon and a teenager. But the coolest car I've ever had is cool. But the Civic, I had a Civic, and everyone's gonna hate on Civics, but I had this little EK Civic, had a B18C out of like a JDM Integra, and that thing scared me. It had like a little half cage in it, like all the roll bars and bits and pieces and suspension. And yeah, one night I was going up Beachmont, and I was just going a bit crazy, and I didn't have good tires on it, and the whole back end kicked out, and I thought I was gonna hit the wall. So yeah, I regret selling that car, but we got a Chaser after that, so that's all right. So yeah, some of the Project Aero parts on the Chaser, we got the cooling panel that directs airflow straight into the radiator, and it also looks good. Like, come on, that's the main reason why everyone wants one. We did our subframe brace kit. So the subframes on the JZX100 and even the 90, they literally fold. Like, you can go clutch kick it. I don't have clutch, but if you went to clutch kick it, you're probably just gonna fold the subframe, especially if you've got big power. So we made our very own subframe brace kit, and then from there we also made diff bushes as well. So they're the 3 parts that are currently on the car. Or mirror visors as well. We made a bunch of mirror visors in different colors just to dress up your Ganadors and your OEM mirrors. But yeah, we've got a bash plate coming for it, an intake cover, and our own heat shields that we're going to start releasing for anything that's like JZX100, 110, high mount and low mount setups, just because everyone will say that's an RV owner, that the turbo's on the wrong side. But yeah. One of the coolest things at Project Aero has been some of the emails that we get from people overseas that want to purchase our products. And anything that's like Japan always sparks our interest. There was an older gentleman goes by the name of Tack, and he wanted a complete splitter lip kit for his Evo 9. And I remember at the time thinking like, geez, it's like my first Japan order. So being Aussie, I put Vegemite in there and sent it over to him. And we stayed in contact for about a good year. And then I said to Tack, I said, look, hey, me and my wife are getting married. We're going to go to Japan for a honeymoon. What you doing? Want to hang out? So we go to Japan. We do 2 weeks in Japan, and, you know, went to Kyoto and Osaka and a few other places. And for our last bit of the trip, we were in Tokyo, and he's like, look, I'll come pick you up. I'll come, you know, let's all hang out. So yeah, sure. Picks us up in this like 2.2 liter Tomei, like built motor, crazy thing. And he's like, just jump in, like we'll go wherever, like I'll take you to where they filmed Tokyo Drift. So we're heading to like where they filmed Tokyo Drift and everything. And the first tunnel we get into, he's doing like 220k an hour. I'm like, geez, I've got to get home alive. And he's just like, racing down the tunnel there and everything. And it's just crazy that we can literally build like a friendship based on just selling our products overseas, like with people. Like we still talk to Tack all the time now too. And he always sends through like photos of like what he's done to the car and what he's purchased. And I remember like rocking up to his house and he had like a gearbox like on his doorstep and things like that. And man, it's just something cool about Japanese people. They're like super friendly and super humble as well, and like very polite. So I think that's probably one of the coolest stories that's ever happened to Project Aero. Yeah. I do a lot of graphic design and photography, and I still do. I love it. Actually, everything that we photograph, or everything you see on the website, we photograph and film it. Maybe filming we're not too good at. But yeah, look, everything that we photograph is put on the website. Every car that we do a kit for, we go out, we photograph it at the same time. Actually, Ty Jeffries, his S13, I feel like everyone's seen that car now, but at 7-Eleven we photographed it when we did the front lip and side skirt extensions for it, and the pictures just ended up going viral. Like, it was insane. So it's cool being able to blend in passion for two different things into one. And I think that's why, I enjoy doing Project Aero so much. Yeah, shout out to my wife watching the kids at home. She's a lifesaver. She's a good egg.